Bitcoin dropped below $107,000, but we are still holding on to crucial support. Meanwhile, the stock market saw record earnings for select companies, and we also have the end of quantitative tightening as of December 1st. In today's video, we'll be talking about what could be next for Bitcoin as we continue to try to hold on to a very, very important level. If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Without further ado, let's jump right into the video. If you just take a quick look at my comment section from the last video, you would think that the bear market has already started. But remember what my key invalidation was: a daily close below $107,000. It was never going to be easy, and the market will always shake us out when it can. And what do you notice on this chart? We wicked all the way down to low 116K levels. However, the daily candle, as we can see here, has closed at around 108.2K. Now, I'm not here to tell you we are in the clear quite yet. I have remained vocally bullish. And to have it on record, if you go back to some of my older videos, I said that even if we were to start losing these levels, I would be looking to long once more at lower valuations. But right now, we cannot ignore the fact that the structure is technically still intact. You can see from these past couple higher lows, the daily candle close was still higher, and my base case was that we would go ahead and try to form another low here. I simply do not want to see us lose $107,000. And if you've been watching the channel, you know exactly why this level is super critical. First and foremost, it was the springboard that sent us to that new all-time high. We talked about this time and time again. However, most recently, on our way up to $116,000, we went ahead and formed a double bottom at this level as well. And so, I do not want to see daily closes below 107. If we get those daily closes below 107, as I outlined in yesterday's video, I would have to reassess for some new longs in this market, and I do think that it would become likely that we move lower, at the bare minimum targeting around 103.5K to hit this pivot low. But right now, if we look at the structure on the daily time frame, technically speaking, this is still a higher low if we look at the candle's body. Now, if we continue to move up here, I expect 112K to still pose a little bit of resistance. But what we really want to see here is a continued move up and hold above the bull market support band. If we can confirm above that bull market support band, which I'll remind you is between $111,000 to $113,000, then I do think we target 116 again, as per my previous video. And on that next attempt of 116, I think it's likely that we go ahead and break to the upside. Just a piece of advice here, I try to not let wicks influence my decision. You can see that this previous low actually was around 107.5K if we only take the body. And once more, this low, 108.2. So until we lose this important crucial level on the daily time frame, I'm not going to pivot my stance quite yet. I still think that the structure is intact if I haven't made myself clear. And you can see this reflected in my trades as well. My Bitcoin long is currently sitting just over $4,000 in profit. We secured around $2,000. And most importantly, that Bitcoin dominance long. This kind of price action is exactly why I've been so vocal about longing Bitcoin dominance on Bluffin. A reminder, if trading this metric interests you, you do have the second link in my description down below. Bluffin is one of the only exchanges that lets you actively trade Bitcoin dominance. Now, let me just re-explain why this was such a good play. We're getting tons of volatility in this market, shaking out all of the people going long, shaking out all of the people going short. And because of this, because there's a little bit more market uncertainty than usual, Bitcoin dominance thrives in this kind of environment. So my base case for Bitcoin dominance is continuing to play out, and that would be trying to fill most of this wick. That would mean Bitcoin dominance could actually go as high as above 63% once more. And this has always been what we've been discussing on the channel. I have been long Bitcoin dominance for quite some time. Now, if you don't understand Bitcoin dominance, first and foremost, I would recommend that you try and analyze this chart and try to understand why it's so important to crypto. But the point is, with this kind of market uncertainty, whether Bitcoin pumps from here or we dump from here, it's highly likely that Bitcoin dominance will continue to increase. And so this is one of the best possible trades you could have had in this market, and we've been talking about it for well over a month now. You can see here that I secured around $7,000 in profit on my most recent Bitcoin dominance long trade, and I also have over $10,000 in unrealized profit. Now, in terms of my Ethereum position, you can see that I'm still up $6,000. This one actually dropped below our entry and then went ahead and came back up. The way that you want to operate in this market is to take a certain amount of risk that you're okay with. A lot of people go way over leveraged and use way too much capital, and that's why when we get this kind of price action, people tend to freak out. I haven't lost sleep due to trades in several years, and neither should you. If you are losing sleep because of this most recent Bitcoin price action, it's simply because you're risking too much on these trades. To be perfectly clear, if we were to lose 107K on the daily time frame, I would be reassessing, looking for new longs in the market. And if you've been watching the channel on the weekly time frame, the actual structure that I'm looking at to continue to hold is still $98,000. My invalidation for the entire bull market would be if Bitcoin drops to below 98K. But right now, we don't necessarily need to talk about it because you can see that we're still trying to form these higher lows in terms of daily candles. So let's see how the price action develops. We are, of course, Friday going into a weekend. And most recently, you can see that we've been pumping into the weekend, then going ahead and filling that CME gap, and then seeing continuation the following weekend. In my opinion, Q4 is still going to be bullish. Now, I know some of you don't necessarily trade this price action, so I'd just like to share that I still have not sold any more of my spot Bitcoin, nor have I sold any more of my spot Ethereum. I still think that ETH makes a brand new all-time high. I still think that Bitcoin makes a brand new all-time high, and that is irrespective of if we lose 107K on the daily time frame. But I have to be honest, this is perfectly normal. A nice little liquidity grab below 107, which is a very, very crucial level to hold. Next up, we need to break above the bull market support band, and if we can confirm there, I do think that we see much higher prices for Bitcoin. I'm starting to get a little bit tired repeating myself on this topic, and just take a look at my last YouTube video, all of the bearish comments. And that's perfectly okay. A $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 price move for Bitcoin might shake you out, but it most certainly will not be shaking me out of this market. Now, I also wanted to zoom out a little bit more and look at the weekly time frame for Bitcoin. And what do you notice? We are still trying to hold this pivotal level, which can be found right around 108.2K. If we close the week as is right now, I would still be expecting more upside, and we would likely start talking about how November would be a bullish month. Take a look at this. Every single time that we've tapped into this level thus far, we've managed to hold it as support. I try to make it as simple as possible on this channel for you to see what I'm talking about and trade the market accordingly. And I do not want to see us lose this level on the weekly time frame. Remember, wicks are totally fine so long as we end up closing back above those levels. So at the time of recording this video, Bitcoin is back above $109,000. What is next? I would not actually be entering any new trades in this zone over here simply because we do not have the confirmation that we need. Yes, this is technically still another higher low. However, we did not reclaim the bull market support band, and we did not break down either for a cheeky Bitcoin short. So right now, it's perfectly okay to sit on your hands. And in terms of my spot allocation, nothing has changed. I also wanted to discuss Ethereum. We talked about this at length too. We are still trying to hold its own bull market support band, and it would not surprise me if this is the pivot that ends up sending Ethereum higher. Just a piece of advice here. If you are trading altcoins, even if you are trading Ethereum, I would be a little bit more risk averse at this point in time. The only reason I say this is because we know that Bitcoin determines the rest of the market. And with Bitcoin dominance likely continuing to increase, you want to exercise just a little bit of caution. I have not added to any altcoin positions. I have not added to my Ethereum position. I'm simply just analyzing Bitcoin for now because it will tell us where the market wants to go. If Bitcoin pumps, Bitcoin dominance will likely increase. If Bitcoin dumps, Bitcoin dominance will likely increase even more, in my opinion. So, liquidity charts. We have to talk about this on the 1 week time frame. I mean, this paints a pretty clear picture. We came down, grabbed a lot of downside liquidity, and now there is a lot of liquidity to the upside. This doesn't guarantee that we will just fly high from here, but the point is the structure is still intact and we have a lot of liquidity to be grabbed. And then as we normally do discussing this Bitcoin exchange liquidation map, what do you notice? There is around 7.14 billion worth of cumulative long liquidation leverage. And on the right here, we have over 20 billion worth of cumulative short liquidation leverage, which means there's 3 times more cumulative short liquidation leverage in the market compared to cumulative long liquidation leverage in the market. This is ultimately positive if you are a contrarian trader, although I would still pay attention to this level because there's a lot of long liquidity around 105.7K. So keep your eyes on this. On the 1-day time frame, you can see that some longs have started to pile in since it seems like we tried to hold 107K as support, but on the 7-day time frame, it's pretty much the same as that 30-day time frame with a lot more short liquidation leverage in the market. Also, just a quick overview in terms of the stock market earnings. We have Amazon here with the revenue higher than anticipated. We also have Apple with the revenue higher than anticipated, and we also have MicroStrategy and Coinbase, same exact thing. So you can see that we're seeing records for the stock market, and we also have CZ coming out many dips along the way. Usually, he either tweets this at local tops or local bottoms. For our sake, let's hope that this is a local bottom. But I still think the picture is abundantly clear. If we lose 107, I will be looking for new longs in this market. However, I will not ignore the fact that this wick is perfectly normal. We grab some liquidity, and there is still a chance that this structure is intact, and therefore I am still bullish in this market. The only time you will hear me get very, very bearish at this point is if, for example, Bitcoin breaks $98,000 on the weekly time frame. And that sums up today's quick video. After I published yesterday's video and Bitcoin seemed to drop, the comments started flooding in saying that the bear market has begun, that we would see Bitcoin go below $80,000. At this point in time, we managed to hold a crucial daily support level, so I'm not looking to pivot quite yet. Of course, as soon as I do, I will let you know on the channel and in my free premium group. A reminder for that group, you have the first link in my description down below if you'd like to join. If you're already trading on one of my partnered exchanges, you have access to that group completely for free. So, Bitcoin needs to continue to hold here, and I'd like to see us confirm back above the bull market support band. Let's see what the weekend gives us. If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.